Shalom, everyone. Thank you for joining us for the Old City of Jerusalem tour. We are very excited to travel with all of you around Israel. For the people that just arrived, we already been in Art Street tour in Tel Aviv. We saw the ANU, the Museum of the Jewish People, and now we left the area of Tel Aviv and we travel all the way to Jerusalem to meet our wonderful tour guide, Shlomo Tal. Shlomo Tal is the head of the education department in the Western Wall Heritage Foundation, and we are very lucky to have him as our tour guide today. So Shlomo, we are ready.
Okay, hello everyone. My name is Shlomo. I live in Jerusalem and I work at the Western Wall Heritage Foundation, and I'm going to be taking you today on a virtual tour to Jerusalem. I am originally from the former Soviet Union. I arrived to Israel something like 27 years ago, established my home here and my family. And I love arts and music and the state of Israel, and of course, Jerusalem. And today I'm going to be sharing a bit of Jerusalem with you. During the tour, it's going to be available to ask questions. So anytime that you want to ask something, that's great. This tour is not some kind of, recorded in advance. This tour is for you. So because of that, you can always open your microphone, ask the question. I will try to answer, but in any case, while you are not at this kind of pose of asking question, please make sure that your microphone is off, because otherwise everyone will be hearing the background noise which is happening at your place. Once in a while, if I will pay attention that there is a background noise, I will switch all microphones off from my side. Please do not take it personally. That's for the safe and secure and pleasant tour of everyone. And immediately we are traveling together with you. We are standing together with you by the Jaffa Gate in Jerusalem, in the old city. So actually, this gate and the walls of the old city that we know today, the iconic walls of the old city, it's not something very ancient. For Israel, it's something very, very new. Once upon a time, I was giving a tour to a group in the Western Wall tunnels, and by the end of the tour, I'm walking back and I see two Chinese tourists standing there, and they asked me at one certain place, "Hey, it seems like you work here. Can you tell us when this place is from?" And I told them it's 700 years old only. And they kind of opened their eyes. Only? Like 700 is only? Yeah, it's the city with thousands of years of Jewish history here, 700s and 400s, is very new. These walls were built here by the Turkish Sultan Suleiman the Great. This is this person on the right. He is, sometimes in Israel we call him the onion head sultan, because of his very special, very big turban. And he was the one who built the last walls of the city of Jerusalem. But when we are getting to know Jerusalem, at least from our perspective, from the history of the Jewish people, this place has 3,000 years old of history. And I would like to give you a brief introduction to the walls of Jerusalem and to some of the very special places. In this virtual reality, most of the tour, we are going to be walking from one place to another. But once in a while, I will jump to one place to show you something, and then we will return and walk around. So this is a very beautiful spot, the place where you see the city walls of Jerusalem. And this Jerusalem is a very special city. The old, the ancient, and the new, the parks, the hotels, the cars, the traffic jams, right? The kindergartens, and even some of the garbage. It's all part of the city of Jerusalem because the city is alive. and it's the life of the Jewish nation, especially when we are speaking on the Independence Day for the Jewish people. We are standing by this part of the city walls, which is called the Tower of David, the Tower of King David, one of the, once again, very iconic views of Jerusalem everywhere, almost where we see Jerusalem, we see this tower. And really the question is why this tower is called the Tower of King David, because this place has nothing to do with King David on his own. So in order to maybe answer this question and to see a little bit of Jerusalem, I would like to go together with you on an introduction to the history of the walls, or maybe the history of the old city of Jerusalem. And we will begin to see it maybe, from high above, from space. And as you can see here, traveling on the other side of the globe, right here, we are in the North America, and we will fly back to Israel. And Jerusalem is right here in the middle, something like what at the basic junction between the three major Asia, Africa, and Europe continents. And please take a look how a person from 1581, Heinrich Bunting, he was a German traveler, he decided to draw the map of the world in this way, where you can see Europe, Asia, and Africa, and you can see Jerusalem just right there in the middle. So from this place, we will fly down and get a little bit down to see the beautiful land of Israel. Here it is in front of us with lots of different climate zones and cities and the seashore and the desert and the Dead Sea and Eilat, right? And the Golan Heights and everything. And just right in the middle of there, our beautiful capital, Jerusalem. Out of 9.3 citizens of the state of Israel today, something like 10th of them live in Jerusalem. Jerusalem nowadays is a city with 900,000 citizens, residents, and all this big city of Jerusalem is only 150 years ago the Jews started going out of the old city. But the old city itself, the 3,000 years of Jewish history is just right around the city walls. Throughout the ages, the walls they grew and got contracted and built and destroyed, because Jerusalem, since the times of King David, was conquered for 40 times by different empires. Even the Mongols arrived here. Can you imagine? But everything started from the city of David. And the city of David is this bright blue. What do you see here? This is the city of David, the main city over here, the Temple Mountain, as you can see here on this picture, on this drawing, the city of David on the on the southern slope of the hill of Mount Moriah. That's where King David decided to establish our eternal capital, Jerusalem, 3,000 years ago. His mission, by the way, was to unify the whole Jewish nation, because back then, 12 different tribes, sitting at the 12 different parts of the land of Israel, not very much unified. And the task of King David was to bring us all the beautiful other types and styles of Jews, but he wanted to make us all one nation. That's why he built Jerusalem at the place that did not belong to any one of the 12 tribes. And then his son, King Solomon, built the temple on the top of the mountain. So afterwards, the city of David was growing more and more during the first temple, this dark blue lines. And then by the end of the second temple, it grew all these green lines. And that was the biggest as the old city inside the city walls of Jerusalem was ever growing. So right now, where are we? The yellow lines, these are the lines of the newest walls of Jerusalem, as I showed you the picture of this onion head turban, Sultan Suleiman. Okay, and he built these walls. And where we are standing, we are in the virtual reality. This is the citadel, which is called the Tower of David. But wait a second, the city of David is something like a mile from this place. And how could it be that this place where we are standing is called actually the Tower of David? And the thing is that the name for this place to be called the Tower of David came much later. You know, for the Jewish people, and also for some other nations and religions, but especially for the Jewish people, Jerusalem, for the last 2,000 of years, was a dream. It was a story. It was something that people would tell at the synagogues, at the meeting places, that was something that we would yearn about, draw Jerusalem on our Kiddush cups and on our challah covers and everywhere. And so Jerusalem for us was something like a story, something like a dream. And once in a while, one out of any community was coming and visiting Jerusalem. And when he was coming here, he was full of dreams. And this person would remember, oh, in the ancient writings, it says that there is a Tower of David somewhere in Jerusalem. And when they were just entering, just right by the Jaffa Gate, when they were coming and seeing this tower, they would say, of course, Jerusalem of the stories, right? This is the Tower of David. And that's how the name got stuck to this place. And it, of course, has nothing to do with King David, as I have shown to you. But until nowadays, this place is called King David's Tower. And it is reminding us once and once again that Jerusalem is not only the place of dry historical and archaeological facts, it's the place of the stories. This is the place of the yearning, of the dream of the Jewish people. And together, probably, with the whole Jewish nation, which was dreaming to arrive to Jerusalem, to arrive to the land of Israel, together with you, we are entering the old city through the Jaffa Gate, and that's where we begin our journey. We will travel back to the Jaffa Gate, and we will enter the old city of Jerusalem from this point, from this spot. You know, this place, that's where I walk almost every day. I live in Jerusalem at another neighborhood, which is called Kiryat Moshe, one of the new neighborhoods of the city of Jerusalem. And every time when in my office is just not far from the Western Wall, that's where I work, Western Wall Heritage Foundation. And every day I enter this place, and every time, you know, coming here, even though it is very, very frequent, it feels like every time discovering Jerusalem once and once again. And here, I would like to pay attention to this hotel, Imperial Hotel, okay, one of the hotels of, let's say, the Christian quarters of Jerusalem. We are on a kind of entrance line, Jaffa Gate. We have the four quarters of the old city of Jerusalem. We will jump back to this map, and here you can see this is the entrance. That's where we are standing. That's where we have entered. And the four quarters of the old city of Jerusalem, we can split it like here, the Muslim quarter, the Christian quarter, the Armenian quarter, and the Jewish quarter over here. So here we enter, and this is one of the hotels of the Christian quarter. And most of the people just walk by and even don't know that there is a very, very special thing just hanging out around there. Next time you are in Jerusalem, get into this place and take a look at this column with your own eyes. I will get closer there. And please take a look what we see here. This is something like 2,000 years old graffiti. And what you see here, it's a Roman milestone. Okay, so in the Roman Empire, like almost every empire, it was very important for them to let know every population at every place who is the boss. And here you can see everywhere in Jerusalem, you can find the signs of the Roman presence. You can see here, this is the sign, which is mentioning one of the main forces of Jerusalem, LEG, Legio, which means legion, X, this is number 10 in the ancient Roman, in Latin language, right? And FR, these are the first two letters of the name of the Romans legion, which destroyed Jerusalem 2,000 years ago. And that's where we are getting together with you right now. This is a drawing of the 10th Roman legion. As you can see here, leg X on their flag, Legio 10th. It was led towards Jerusalem by Emperor Vespasian and later on by Emperor Titus. Both of them were part of the destruction of Jerusalem in the year of 70. Destruction of Jerusalem, destruction of the temple, and setting this long 2,000 years old exile. And here you can see this is one of the symbols of Legio X Fretensis. That was the name of this legion. And these two letters, FR, Legio X FR, that's what you see here on this column. So as we enter Jerusalem, Jerusalem kind of reminds us, remember what happened here 2,000 years ago. And what happened here 2,000 years ago was actually very symbolic for the history of Jerusalem. We will get back to the main street, and while we are walking to the old city of Jerusalem, to the Jewish quarter, I will tell you this part of the story of Jerusalem. So as I mentioned in the beginning, Jerusalem was established by King David, and the reason choosing exactly this place was in order to unify the whole Jewish nation. And the situation in Jerusalem 2,000 years ago, just before the destruction, wasn't that simple. The Jewish people inside the old city of Jerusalem, they were not only kind of disunited or broken to different groups and types and styles of the Jews, but they were actually at the real civil war. And there was unconditional, or let's say the hatred for no reason, sinat chinam. People, instead of speaking one to another and debating about the differences, were fighting over their differences. And this situation was terrible. It was terrible up to the point that the two different heads of the Jewish leaders were really fighting one against another. And the Romans, when they arrived, they saw the city, which was already broken from its heart, broken from inside. And what left for them is just to destroy the city walls and destroy the stones. But actually, from inside, the city was destroyed by the Jews not being able to live according to the soul, to the heart of the city, the unity. And to see this column at the entrance of the old city is reminding me every time when I'm entering this place. Remember, Jerusalem is here in order to be this symbol of unity of the Jewish people. Throughout the last thousands of years, 2,000 of years since the exile, the Jews always tried to live in Jerusalem. Sometimes they were able to, sometimes they were not. When they were able to come to Jerusalem and to live here, not always it was simple. Sometimes they lived here in a very great poverty. And some of the examples of it you can see in this museum. This is a museum of the old Jewish quarter, where it shows the lifestyle of the Jews who lived here during the times of the Turks, and probably even before, because the situation was the same. We are standing inside the house of a family. Okay, it's not a room, it's the entire house. We entered through this doorway, but this doorway is a new opening. Pretty much for the sake of this museum, they opened, they broke part of the wall and they made this doorway. And on the other side, they broke part of the wall and they made this another entrance. But technically speaking, this place was the whole house of the whole one family. Okay, how do you raise a family in the small place? Very simple. It's something like a Lego house. Everything is being mantled and dismantled. So what you see here is something which looks like a living room. It's actually a bunch of mattresses stacked up one upon another. During the nighttime, all the family, they unstack the mattresses, and the whole room, the whole floor of the room becomes one big bedroom for the father and the mother and all the kids. And early in the morning, they wake up, they run to wash their hands and their faces. And as you can see here, this is the sink and this is the bathroom. And where did they go to the toilet? Okay, the toilet was outside, rainy, snowy, doesn't matter. You just run outside. And that's where you wash your face and hands. And the breakfast, okay, before the breakfast, you stack up all the mattresses back to create this living room, and you put the carpet, and all the family sits around, as you can see. Just a second, as you can see on this photograph over here, Jerusalemite Jewish family sitting around the very small table, sitting on the floor. So this is the situation. The Jewish people in Jerusalem for all these thousands of years, yearning, telling the stories about this place, coming and living in this place, wasn't so simple. But even though the Jewish population here almost never stopped coming and living here, even during all these 2,000 years of the exile, and even through all the poverty and all the conditions, Jews always strived to arrive and to come here. And anytime, even if the entrance of Jews was banned from, the ability of the Jews was taken from coming to Jerusalem, every time, despite all the problems, we were coming and trying to seize once again our presence in this beautiful, beautiful city. So, as I mentioned before, during several hundreds of years of the Roman rule here, the presence of Jews was not available in the old city of Jerusalem. But besides this time, almost all the time, there was a Jewish presence in the city. So what happened here during the time of the Romans, and how it happened that the Jews were banned from their own capital? And as you can see here, we are standing right together with you. It's the main Roman street of Jerusalem. Actually, I'm wrong. It wasn't the main Roman street of Jerusalem. That was the main Roman street of Ilia Capitolina. They renamed the city of Jerusalem. They renamed it to Ilia Capitolina, and the story of this place I will tell you just in a second. So first, I would like to show you this city, this street, with all the shops. These are original shops of this main street, right? Like Main Street of Jerusalem. It's like nowadays you go to Jaffa Street, or you go to Broadway or Amsterdam Street in New York. There's a main street and there are shops everywhere, right? It's like the mall, the open main street, and that what was here. And let's see the street, on the map from above. So as you can see here, in the old city of Jerusalem, there are two very main streets, starting from Damascus Gate. From Damascus Gate, there is one street going, crossing the whole city of Jerusalem. As you can see here, this very, very fine black line. And there's another street that would take a little bit more to the east, and also to cross the old city. You can see both of these streets on this map. This is a very ancient map. This map was this is a replica, by the way, but the map like this was found, a mosaic map, in one of the churches on the floor, one of the churches of Jordan, the Jordanian city of Midva. And this map was created something like 1,500 years ago. And on this map, you can also see this is the Damascus Gate. This is a column, very important column, the column that was built here together with this main street number 1. In Roman language, it's cardo, which means like cardiology, the heart, the center of the city, and the second cardo, secondary heart cardo. Jerusalem has Yerushalayim. In Hebrew, it's multiple, it's plural, 2 hearts. Okay, even the Romans understood that. They built 2 hearts to Jerusalem, 2 heart streets. So this is one of these streets, the heart streets of Jerusalem, the cardo. What happened here? In order to see and in order to understand how it happened that at this street the Jews were not allowed to enter, and that it was completely different city, the Roman city, which was called Ilia Capitolina, we will need to jump back together with you in history and see the coins, because the coins, this is something like newspapers, right? In each one of the coins, each one of the emperors will tell the story that he wants to tell to his whole empire. So this is a coin of Vespasian. Vespasian's famous coin, which is called Judea Capta, Judea in captivity. And Judea in captivity is drawn here as a lady, Judea, a land. In the Roman culture, they had this understanding that the land has its spirit, has its soul, and the land is alive. And if I captured land called Judea, she's like a woman sitting in captivity under the palm tree. So that what happened in the year of 70. The story of destruction of Jerusalem and the hatred and the misunderstandings between the Jews, I already told you. But what happened next? Because for this first 60 years, Jerusalem was just in ruins, deserted city. At the year of 130, Common Era, different emperor decided to arrive to Jerusalem. His name was Hadrian, or as you can see here, Hadrianus. And this is the coin of his travel, okay, to Judea. Hadrianus, Hadrian arrived to Judea, and on this coin you can see that the lady is already not sitting under the tree in captivity, right? And he's standing, and with his hand he's forgiving her. So Hadrian decided to write to Jerusalem, to Judea, and to forgive Judea. And for the sake of his rival, these 2 main streets were created. This one, this cardo, and another cardo, the Heart Street. And at one of the streets, he's standing here, he arrives here and he says, "Dear Jews, I forgive you, and I want to rebuild your city. I'm going to be rebuilding Jerusalem." Wow, that was amazing. These news were incredible, because it just seems like, you know, after Babylonian captivity, 70 years, and the Jewish people are returning back. And the same thing is happening here. Hadrian is bringing us, the Jews, back to Jerusalem. And then he claimed, "I'm going to be building Jerusalem once again, and I will rebuild the Temple Mountain. And on the Temple Mountain, I will build a temple to Jupiter." Isn't it amazing? Like modern style. And the Jews like, "What are you talking about? Jupiter? It's not Rome. It's Jerusalem. Can't you live like one city with one temple to one God with no idols?" And Hadrian, probably he didn't understand, or he did understand and did it on purpose. We do not know. But what we do know is that this attempt to build a temple to Jupiter in Jerusalem started the biggest revolt in the history of the Roman Empire, Bar Kokhba revolt. And this is the coin from Bar Kokhba revolt. And what you can see here on the coin, by the way, Bar Kokhba also, he was telling a message through his coins, right? And here on this side of the coin, in ancient Hebrew, it's written Shimon. His name was Shimon Bar Kokhba. And here, this is the picture of the temple, the entrance to the temple. And on the right side, you can see the 4 species of Sukkot. And in ancient Hebrew, is written here, Lecherut Yerushalayim, for the freedom of the city of Jerusalem. The revolt is here for 3 years. It is holding pretty well until Hadrian arrived with the 12 legions, destroyed the city once again. And as a part of the destruction of the city, he released this coin, the coin of him plowing Jerusalem, as you can see here. Me, Hadrian, I defeated the Jews. I'm plowing Jerusalem, but that's not enough, because that's already the 3rd revolt of the Jews against the Roman Empire. And why are they so consistent? Why their revolt is so strong? So he decided to learn, and he understood that for the Jews, Jerusalem and the land of Israel is the heart. So he decided, if I want to defeat the Jews, I need to take Jerusalem from them. And to take Jerusalem from the Jews doesn't mean only destroy and to ban the entrance for the Jews to Jerusalem. That means psychologically and historically to wipe out Jerusalem out of people's hearts and memories. So he decided, I will rename Jerusalem. There's not going to be Jerusalem anymore, and it's forbidden to mention this word, Jerusalem. It's going to be Ilia Capitolina, the new city. He renamed Jerusalem to Ilia Capitolina, and he said that's not enough. If the Jews will remember that they belong to the place called Judea, so it will, once again, it will bring them this dream of Zionism, the returning back to belonging to this land. So I will rename the name of the land. And what did Hadrian? He renamed the name of the province called Judea of the Roman Empire to province since then called Palestina. And since then, this name Palestine is running around from one empire to another. So we are together with you celebrating today the independence of the land of Israel, as we are standing just above the road where the entrance of the Jews to this place was not allowed during the times of Hadrian. And now you can see flags of Israel, coffees, shops, coffee places, and people living here, and Jewish people living here. And from this place, I would like to jump together with you to another very important place and very significant, especially personally for me in Israel, in Jerusalem, is actually Jerusalem, Israel State Museum in Jerusalem. And we are entering this place. And what you see in front of you is actually a bronze statue of Hadrian. That was his face. That's how he looked like. We found only 3 bronze statues of Hadrian in the whole land of Israel. And this is one of them. And I go to Central Museum all the time. And what's very important for me every time when I come is to come to this hall, because State Museum in Jerusalem is a huge place. But every time I try to come to this hall, to this place, and look into Hadrian's eyes, I'm coming here every time and looking into his blank eyes, and I'm smiling. Because, I think to myself, Hadrian, do you know where are you? You're in the State Museum of the state called Israel, with a place where Jewish people are speaking Hebrew in the city, which is called Jerusalem. So with all the will of Hadrian to take away Jerusalem from us, we are even on, through the Zoom, on this Independence Day, we are traveling through the city of Jerusalem and watching and seeing this beautiful, beautiful place, and so significant, with hundreds and thousands of years of history. So we are continuing to walk inside, and sometimes the Jewish people felt pretty much at home at lots of places in exile, until once in a while someone reminded us actually where we do really belong. And I am taking you to one of the synagogues, which is connected to one of this kind of stories. So the year is 1492. 1492, Columbus is setting off to discover India. That's what he was trying to do, to find India on the other side of the globe. And, technically speaking, he discovered America. Okay, at the same specific year in Spain, King Ferdinand and Queen Isabella, they decide that Spain is becoming one state religion place, Christianity, Roman Catholic. And if you are not, you can convert, you can leave. So the Jews, lots of them decided to leave the place. About 200,000 of the Jews left Spain. And where did they go? At the same time, we will return back to our first slide on another presentation that I shared with you. This one, okay? The father of the great Suleiman, who built the city walls of Jerusalem, his name was Selim Khan. So Sultan Selim Khan I, he was in charge of the Ottoman Empire at the same time, here on the left. And he thought to himself, I want to expand my empire. And in order to expand my empire, what do I need? I need people, I need key people, I need scientists, I need traders, I need people who know how to read and write. So where I'm going to find this huge amount of people, to educate the whole nation, it's very hard. And then he heard that there's the Spanish people that are kicking out all the Jews. He said, oh, that's amazing. That's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for the Jews. And he invited the Jews to enter his empire. And more than 100,000 of the Jews arrived to the Turkish Empire. And that was at the year of 1492 and so on. But then at 1517, when the Turks conquered the land of Israel, slowly the Jews started thinking to themselves, we were sitting in Spain for 400 years and everything was just great. Until this kind of crazy Ferdinand and Isabella just kicked us out. What will happen in several tens or hundreds of years in Turkey? We do not know, but now the Turkey conquered the land of Israel. So that means that there is an opportunity to return. Maybe that's the time to return back home. And huge amount of Jews from Turkey, after Spanish expulsion, wandering around the world through Turkey, they arrived to Jerusalem and to Tzfat and to Tiberias and to some other places and to Hebron. And they established another beautiful, beautiful chapter of Jewish communities in these beautiful places. And when they came to Jerusalem, they built this specific synagogue. And when they came here, they heard that there is a tradition that at this specific place was a study hall of one of the greatest sages of the times of Talmud and Mishnah, from the times of the temple. His name was Rabban Yochanan ben Zakkai. So they said, okay, of course, we will call the synagogue after his name. So this is the synagogue built by the Spanish Jews after Spanish expulsion and named after Rabban Yochanan ben Zakkai. And here on this photograph, I found for you a photograph of the year of 1903 or 05, I don't quite remember, okay, but during the Turkish times. This is the Sephardic, the Spanish Jewish community during the holiday of Hanukkah. And even you can see here 2 Turkish guests. Okay, even 2 Turkish guests standing here around the Chanukiah, the same Aron HaKodesh, the Ark of the Torah scroll, the same style of windows and everything, just right the same. And this was, and until now, this is the main Sephardic, the main Spanish synagogue of the Sephardic Jews in the world, and especially in Jerusalem. But together with that, I would like to tell you the story that happened here on September 1860 something. Sorry, don't remember exactly the year. There was an emperor of Austro-Hungarian Empire. His name was Franz Joseph. And Franz Joseph, he arrived to Jerusalem, and he made a visit to the Muslim quarter, to the Christian quarter, and to the Jewish quarter with the representatives of the Jews. And when he entered the synagogue from this entrance. from this entrance over here, he entered the synagogue, and one of the people who was following him through this entrance, for Sephardi synagogues, right? One of the followers of Franz Joseph said, when Franz Joseph, the great emperor of Austro-Hungarian Empire, when he arrived, when he entered the synagogue, he fell on the floor, kissed the floor, and bowed. And when he raised, he said, "This is the synagogue," and that's where, according to the history, was the study hall of the great Rabban Yochanan ben Zakkai. And he said, he lived here when the Roman Empire spilled the endless amount of the Jewish blood. And me bowing here may repent and maybe cover the great sin that Rome did to the Jews back then. So very, very spicy story, one of the spiciest story, in my opinion, of Jerusalem. Austro-Hungarian emperor bowing and remembering the great history of the Jewish people, and by that even may say recognizing the right of the return of the Jewish people to their land, because he said that was the place of the Jews, and what the Rome did here was not right. And since then, something like 150 years later, we are here traveling in the old city of Jerusalem, and fulfilling the dream of generations, and continuing walking through these beautiful, beautiful streets and telling the stories of the place. There are so many stories of Jerusalem that I can tell you, and even if we would walk one day in Jerusalem, I can walk in the old city for, I don't know, at least 6 hours and give the story around, and in the virtual reality for even 3 hours, even though that virtual reality is not the whole city of Jerusalem. But I would really love to tell you several stories about this place in this very limited amount of time. And we are standing by the very special synagogue, the synagogue of Rabbi Yehuda Hasid, the synagogue that was built here about 300 years ago by the Polish Jews, the Jews that arrived from the Poland. It was the center of the Ashkenazi community of Jerusalem. This is the photograph of the synagogue before the War of Independence. That was a beautiful and central synagogue of the old city of Jerusalem. When Jordanian legions came here, they destroyed and they blew up almost all the ancient Jewish synagogues. And several years ago, very recently, this synagogue was rebuilt, and this square became one of the central squares of the old city of Jerusalem. And then this menorah was moved to this place. This menorah was a donation of one Russian-speaking Jew from Ukraine. He donated 42 kilograms of gold in order to build menorah, which will be kosher for the temple. One day, if and when the temple will be built, they'll already have a kosher menorah for the temple. So they didn't know how to build a menorah. They said, okay, theoretically speaking, but now it's like, really, we need to bring this menorah to reality. And the menorah, even though if the temple and until the temple will be built, it will stand here in the old city, represent a symbol. One of the main symbols of the Jewish nation in this menorah, the symbol of clarity, the symbol of light, the symbol of goodness, and the symbol of wisdom. So how will we do this menorah? And he said, okay, let's try to find some evidence of how menorah looked like in the temple. And I will show you several of the evidences. One of them, of course, by the way, here's the photograph of Franz Joseph. The empire was called Österreich, but it's Austro-Hungarian Empire, and his visit to Jerusalem. And we are continuing on. So there is a coin. This coin that you see on the right is 10 agorot coin, like 10 cents coin, right? And there is a menorah on it. But this is a replica of another coin, which was 100 shekel, once before the change of the currency from shekel to the new shekel. But actually, this is a replica of another very important coin. That was the coin of the last Hasmonean king of Judea. The last Hasmonean king of independent Judea. His name was Matityahu Antigonus II. He ruled here in Israel only for 3 years before King Herod. And one of his symbols, also because he was a priest in the temple, but also because for him it was very important to take and to deliver to his world the message, the menorah, this symbol. And this is the menorah on the coin of Matityahu Antigonus II. And then there are some other evidences. And to one of these evidences, I would like to travel together with you from this place in Jerusalem Museum. We will fly once again a little bit up to the sky, and we will land to Rome. You know, I love these virtual tours for this one small thing, that on your screen you can see one after another, Jerusalem and Rome and Greece and where not. And as you can see, this is Titus Arch in Rome, and this is the Colosseum. By the way, the Colosseum was built from the money that was plundered from the Jewish communities in Judea by Vespasian and Titus. Okay, this huge plays of gladiators and everything that was from this, from the gold taken from Judea, from the Jews during the destruction. And here we have this Titus Arch. Titus arrived to Rome as a successor of his father Vespasian, and as an emperor that destroyed. Oh, sorry, he wasn't emperor back then. He was still an officer in the Roman army, as an officer who conquered Jerusalem. And on the arch inside, as you can see here, these are the Jews who were brought in captivity to Rome, and he, with the Jews, walked through this arch, and afterwards this partial sculpture was created here. And you can see exactly, this is the menorah. This is the menorah that was brought here, and this sculpture remained here through 1,950 years of history, reminding us of the destruction and of us carrying our symbols and our values with us together to the exile. And by the way, since this triumph of Titus and his entrance through this arch, the Jewish community of Rome, they swear that they will never walk through this arch again until 29th of November of 1947. After the declaration of the United Nations, which declared that the Jewish people had the right to establish their Jewish state in the land of Israel, all the Jewish community of Rome gathered at this square, and they walked this arch, but backwards towards Jerusalem, as a symbol of whatever Titus did here, we are returning back to our home. And nowadays, from this place, I want to return together with you and jump once again to Jerusalem and to show you one another menorah, not far from away from the old city. You know, in Jerusalem, everything is not so much far away. This menorah is just right in front of the Knesset, just right from another symbol of the independence of the Jewish nation in the state of Israel, in the land of Israel. And this menorah, the same menorah that stands in the old city, that was there in the temple, the first and the second, for the several thousands of years, it is continuing to be there and to inspire us with its presence and with the messages that is bringing to us. And here we are on the Independence Day. You are from Canada, I'm from Israel, and we are both standing and watching this amazing building, the Knesset of Israel, symbolizing our independence. I will return to the old city of Jerusalem. And from this menorah, from this symbol, I would like to walk together with you, maybe even to jump together with you to another symbol. In the virtual reality, I can even jump through these walls and to get to another place just right here by the lions. By the way, during the times of the coronavirus, these lions, they added to them the masks. Okay, as you can see here, they drew the masks to the lions, even to the lions. Even though that nowadays the situation in Israel is much better, and we feel like already kind of getting out of all this coronavirus mess, and people return back to the Western Wall and to the old city. And today we celebrated the Independence Day in the park with lots of families, barbecuing and celebrating our independence. The situation back then, when I made this virtual reality together with the company that made it for us, was not so good, and it was something like 2 weeks before Jerusalem Day. So it's almost exactly a year ago that we made these pictures and we created this virtual reality. And when we made it, I asked them, guys, please, can you make this part of the Kotel of the Western Wall during the night? Because during the night time, this place is magical. It's really magical. So they came here at 1 at night, and please have a look who they found, a bride and a groom, because back then the only way to make a wedding was available with the 10 people, 1 minyan outside at the chuppah, which is going to be outside. And lots of weddings were very small weddings, and some weddings that were done here on all these rooftops watching the Western Wall. And here we are coming to the Western Wall together with you on the Independence Day. We will get just right up to the Western Wall. Before the coronavirus, during the year before the coronavirus, 12 million people entered the Western Wall. 12 million people from all over around the world, from so many different types and styles of people. And this place attracts us all. The remnant of the Temple Mountain, the remnant of the temple, it was waiting for us for 2,000 years. And here we are returning to our place, touching the walls, touching the stones, who have seen here everything. The Jewish people speaking the same language, connecting to the same amazing values. Sometimes I'm thinking about the modern world, how only during the last 100 of years it arrived to think about life full of values. Until then, just empires fighting one against another over territories and stuff like that. And we already for thousands of years dreaming about the peace, about the values, and about amazing life here on earth. And here we are in Jerusalem, which was following it all, symbolizing it all. And here from the Western Wall, I would like to wish you all לשנה הבאה בירושלים הבנויה, of course. Here we are, לשנה הבאה בירושלים הבנויה. I wish everyone great and strong health, and stay safe. And really, I hope to see you all in Jerusalem, and let Jerusalem continue inspiring us, inspiring our generations. And here we are, לשנה הבאה בירושלים הבנויה.
Shlomo, toda rabba. Thank you very much from Canada. We really felt and experienced Jerusalem today with you. For people that really enjoy Shlomo Tal tour, we are going to see him again in 2 hours in the Western Wall tunnels tour. So as you can see, there is a lot to see with Shlomo and to actually feel it. So thank you, Shlomo, and I will see you all in a few minutes in our next tour. Thank you. Bye.
Chag Sameach.
Chag Sameach. Thank you very much.
And thank